Hey, real quick, while I have you here, do you want our eyes, so me and Krishla's eyes on your social media accounts? Take your social media presence to the next level with a Mad Marketing Mums Instagram and TikTok audit. With the ever changing platforms and competition on social media, it's crucial to stay ahead of the curve and ensure that your content is optimized for maximum engagement and visibility. And that is where us Mad Marketing Mums come in. With our mini audit service, you'll receive personalized, actionable recommendations to optimize your accounts, improve your content, and grow your following on Instagram and TikTok. How does it work? We review your accounts and provide you with actionable insights to improve your content and reach your goals. What you'll get is a profile health check to ensure it's optimized for each platform, a review of your existing content, including video, captions, visuals, and hashtags, plus suggestions for future content, including new content formats, themes, and posting strategies. And the great thing is that this whole audit is packaged up as a video and Google Doc that you can refer back to anytime and anywhere. We are offering these right now at $99 AUD, and that price will go up eventually. But because you guys are early birds and we know that you listeners love hearing our episodes and stuff, we wanted to give you guys a special offer. So if you are interested, you can head to our website at madmarketingmums.com and you'll see at the very top account audits and you can learn more from there. Now,
welcome back to the podcast. Today we are talking about something that I think is a bugbear for a lot of you listening out there. And I don't know about you, Clem, but if I had $1 for every time somebody said this to me, I would be a rich lady indeed. And that is, I don't have time, right? I don't have time. Creating content takes too long. Well, we are here today with some super practical tips and tricks and tools that you can use to create more content in less time using a strategy that we both love and are super passionate about because we are busy mums ourselves. We don't have time to spend all day creating content. And that strategy is to actually repurpose your content. So, Clem, I know you're as excited about this episode as I am.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot for me to not go down infinite number of rabbit holes because there's so many ways that you can talk about repurposing content and such. But we're going to just start at the very basics because we know that not everybody knows what repurposing content is when we start talking about it. So what is repurposing content? Well, we've discussed this. There's about three. It's a general term, but if you want to get specific, there's about three ways of repurposing or recycling your content, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, and there may be more. There may be people who listen to this and disagree. But I think for simplicity, let's keep it simple, right? And that is reusing your content, repurposing or reformatting, and cross-posting from one channel to another. So let's dive into each of these in a little bit more detail, just to, I guess, for the sake of clarification, before we get into obviously the benefits of this and then the nice practical tips, because that's what this episode is all about. So reusing your content is exactly as it sounds. It is literally just sharing the same post again. So if we use Instagram as an example, perhaps 3 months ago, you shared a really great tip about insert your niche here, and that post performed really well, and you know it is still a really useful tip. You can literally reshare it again. So post that same image. If it was an image-based post, for example, same caption, same hashtags. Or you might want to mix things up a little bit, maybe change out the image, because we know that we are much better at remembering images than words. So that's a little hot tip for you there. If you do want to reshare your content, sometimes it can just be useful to change up that image and find something else that's still relevant. Otherwise, if you really don't want to, literally share it again, just exactly as it is. And this is where I think evergreen content really comes into play, because that is the type of content that you can share again and again, because if it was good 3 months ago, it's still good now. Now, let's dive into the next one here. And this is really about reformatting or repurposing your content, or recycling, whatever you want to call it. There's lots of re words that we can use here. And Clem, I know you're a big fan of this one too, and that
Yeah.
is reformatting that content from one format to another.
Yeah. This I think is really it's the core of this going green content, this reusing, repurposing type of idea, where it's you take that one idea and you're going to show it in many, many different ways. So whether that is taking that one, say TikTok or Instagram reel, taking that main idea and doing a different type of TikTok, or taking your video podcast like we're doing right now and getting visual snippets out of it and putting those up on social. That's what repurposing is. It's taking one form of content and purposing it in a different way for a different channel for the exact same goal and end goal in mind.
Mm.
Yeah. And then there's also the really easy one that anyone should be doing now, and you can easily do this automatically as well, is cross posting, or if we're going to go with ours, redistribution.
Oh, yes.
Redistributing. I was going to say redistributing at first, and then I got tongue tied, but redistributing your content, so that one TikTok going and putting it on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Facebook Reels, that sort of thing. That is one form of that repurposing content that Krishna and I use religiously. Should be, I guess, it's also probably the most basic way, I think, of repurposing content that we know that people use.
Now, there may be some people listening who think, oh, I don't want to have a carbon copy of my content across all platforms. And you can be a bit smart about this. You know, what I tend to do myself is, if I've created something, an Instagram reel, for example, that I know I want to share on TikTok, I'll simply share it on another day. But to be honest, you've probably got different audiences on those channels, so it probably doesn't matter that much. But you can absolutely mix things up and try different days of the week, so that it doesn't feel same across all of your channels.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And this kind of brings us into why you should be repurposing. So like you said, not everybody is seeing your content, and someone might not necessarily follow you everywhere, but everybody's got that social media playground that they like to hang out on. So whether you've posted it now or 6 months ago does not guarantee that one of your followers that's been around for a year has seen both pieces. And also, more to the point, people forget what they see as well. How many touch points I think it takes now? It's like 30 touch points before someone is really going to consider aligning themselves with your business. It's all about that repetition. So if you're going to cross post and redistribute like I do, then this is one way to actually not necessarily tick that box, but to achieve that goal of that second, third, fourth touch point for sure.
Yeah.
I think, to me, that's probably one of the main reasons why repurposing helps so much, because when you are time poor, or you're like us where you've got kids and you can't be full-time in your business, this is one of the easiest ways to be able to be across the platforms, is by doing that cross posting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, not everybody sees your content the first time you post it. We know
Yeah.
we've got algorithms at play. We've got people just showing up on the app at different times of day. Depending on your audience, if they are following a huge number of accounts, they might not see your content, right? That percentage or that likelihood of them seeing your content is much lower if they are following 1,000 accounts, versus if they were only following 10 accounts, then yeah, they probably will see every single thing that you put up. Post frequency, time of day, like all of those things come into play. But it's also about serving that content to your new followers. So I think that's a really good case for sharing content again. Yes, it saves time. We're all about time-saving tips, 100%. But it's actually just about being really smart with the piece of content that you have to ensure that it gets in front of the right people. Now, one thing that a thought that just sparked before when you were speaking about this, Clem, and about this omni-channel approach or cross-posting is there are no guarantees that Instagram is going to be here tomorrow, or TikTok. We've been speaking about this for the last few months about whether or not it's going to be banned in the US. So you're really future-proofing your brand by having a presence on multiple channels. So if one disappears tomorrow, you've still got that content backed up, if you will, on
Yep.
those other channels. Why else do you do it?
I mean, besides saving time, like it's you and I both know, like I think I don't know, I've explained to you before where sometimes my day is down to the minute as to what I have to do within that time frame. So repurposing saves a huge amount of time, especially if you structure it the right way. Um, for me, it's just an absolute no-brainer that that's what you have to do. But back on your point about future-proofing as well and cross-posting all channels, I feel like we're looping back to this cross-posting a lot. I've had a thought that's just popped up as well. Not only is it with the potential of, say, a social media channel falling off the face of the earth tomorrow and such, but people learn in different ways. They learn, some people learn better on video. They learn better reading. They learn better listening. So if you allow yourself to be able to repurpose those ideas and showing them in different ways, you are allowing your business to reach audiences the exact way they prefer to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they'll end up hanging out and continuously digesting what you have to offer in the way that they like best. So it's, again, another no-brainer why repurposing is key to being able to grow and reach new audiences, for sure.
Well, and this is really important if we think about neurodiversity as well, and
Mm,
different learning styles and capabilities. Um, yes, so I think even though you may really enjoy writing and doing written captions, there are people out there who simply don't learn like that, or just don't like to consume their content like that. So it's
yeah.
really taking into account the needs of your audience there. I think the one thing that we haven't yet touched on that's an obvious reason for doing this is you need to be reminding people of what it
Mm-hmm.
is that you offer and how
Mm-hmm.
people can buy from you. As you said before about the number of touch points required, we know that people need to hear from you. They need to receive your offer multiple times, usually, before they'll make that decision to buy from you or work with you. And even more times if you're selling a high ticket item. So
Mm.
you might be selling a $10 pair of earrings and people only need to see that once and they impulse shop, and fine. Great, good for you. If you're selling a $2,000 coaching program, it's going to take a little bit longer to move people along that customer journey. So
Absolutely.
by popping up, by sharing your offers time and time again, and perhaps in those different formats or in different ways, you're going to be hitting all of those touch point goals, yay, but also reminding people of that offer because when they're ready to buy. So when someone first comes across your account, chances are they're not going to be ready to buy from you. One, because of that know, like, and trust factor. But even so, even if you've earned that trust and people are like, yeah, I would absolutely buy from this person, they may not have the budget at that time. They may not feel that they have the time to work with you just yet. They may have other things that are going on that's preventing them from buying right now. But if in 3 months' time you're back in their feed, you're sharing that offer again, they can then go, oh, actually, I am ready for this. Or it may be, so, you sell something, I'm thinking like baby products, right? Nobody's ready to buy a pram until you're having a baby.
Mm.
So, you've got to keep showing up and sharing that style of content. So when people are ready to buy, they see you, they see what you have to offer, you're front of mind, and then they can make that decision to purchase from you. All right, I feel like we need to get into the how now. Let's get
Yeah.
practical, because that's what we promised. This is going to be a reasonably short session, but we want to pack it full of value. So, first of all, what type of content can we actually repurpose? Are there some that are better than others? What's your take on
No.
this?
Everything is content. Everything is content.
Don't
Literally
forget to
everything.
film it. Yes.
Good thing we're testing out a new podcast recording platform and they've just picked that up.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah. Everything that I know you're going to hate this phrase. I know you do. There are more ways to skin a cat.
Oh, yuck.
Everything that whether it's an image, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a podcast, video, etc., you can repurpose it, you can cross post it, you can reformat it. Everything is possible. It's just a matter of where your starting point is, really. It just looks slightly different in the way you end up reformatting it. So no, literally everything can be repurposed for sure. What do you prefer to repurpose? Where do you start?
Yeah, so I start in a couple of places, two places. One is before I'm even thinking about repurposing. I'm thinking about creating content that has longevity. So really the majority of the content that I want to spend time creating, I would say 90%, is evergreen or evergreen-ish. So
Mm-hmm.
perhaps it's relevant at least for the next few months, if not the next few years, like ideally.
Yeah.
Content that you could use in a year's time, amazing, totally worth your time investment. So that's kind of the first step in my thought process for content. And then once you put it out into the world the first time around, I'm then looking at, okay, well, what's performed best? What's really hit the mark with my audience? That's probably what I'm going to start out by either resharing or repurposing to begin with. Now, performance in terms of content isn't just likes and comments, because of course it ultimately depends on the objective of that piece of content to begin with. So if the objective was to get people over to read a blog post of mine, I'm not looking at the likes and comments. I'm looking at the number of website clicks to determine if that was a high performing piece of content. And if by that measure of success it was, then I would share that again. Absolutely. Conversely, of course, you can do this with your worst performing pieces of content too, and change things up, especially if you think, oh, I thought that would really perform quite well. I'm sharing a really important message in this content, but it hasn't hit the mark for some reason. I think that opens up that opportunity to reframe it or present it in a different way and just try again. Change up your hashtags, change up your caption. Perhaps if it's a video, lead with a different hook, or you saying something different at the start. All of these things, it's all just a matter of tweaking and playing, right? That's really what content is. It's about experimentation.
Yep. What I like to start with is like if you know me and you follow me, you know the video is my jam. So I usually start if you started with your best performing content, the media that I start with is video. I always end up going to video because that's the medium that I like to use. What I like to do is make sure that those videos are a little bit longer and a bit meaty. Like if you start to notice like short 30-second videos that I'm talking in, they don't really happen that much anymore, but the longer form, the 2-3 minute ones do, because you can make snippets out of them, which is one of the best ways I think of repurposing and reformatting to me. So taking those longer form pieces of content and taking those snippets. You can do the same thing with blogs. You can do the same thing with YouTube videos, podcasts, taking something that's long and making it short. So by the way, you do that is get those main points that are within those longer pieces of content, and those become your snippets. So if you are a writer, then that means you most likely may have organized, say, a writing outline of what you were going to write, or you've got an idea. Use those main headings. Use those as your snippets for those shorter pieces of content. That's one of the ways that I love, and I think when you get into the habit of doing it, it gets so fast.
Yes, and that's it. It's a habit. It's part of as you're creating that content. And if you're thinking, oh, I don't have long form videos, or I don't like video, that's a whole nother conversation. We can talk you into video down the track. But look, if you've got blogs that are just sitting there on your website, take that content and repurpose it, reuse that. So either sharing posts, literally just driving people to that, saying I wrote a blog about XYZ. Of course, you will word it in a much better way, but come and read it, inviting people to read it. Don't just put it up once and then forget about it. Likewise, if you have a podcast, share the episodes again and again and again. And if you're using a tool such as Buzzsprout or some other podcast hosting tool that allows you to grab even those audio snippets, it does the job for you. You can grab a little 30-second segment and post that. And again, just remind people of some of the highlights in that longer form piece of content. One thing I really like to do, and it's a total cheat, but hey, it's my content. I'll take a blog post and I will turn it into an Instagram carousel post. And I will literally copy and paste one, heading or one sentence from the blog as a slide for the carousel. Copy, paste, put it all together. There you go. And serve up that content that way. And then in the written caption, I would invite people to go and actually read the entire blog post. So there's just so many different ways you can do this. But as you said, it's about habit, right?
Yeah. I have to point out though, Crystal, you called that a cheat. That is not a cheat at all.
It's smart.
It's smart. It is very smart. And it's exactly what I would do if you and I are in different mindsets. You like the written form and doing the carousels and design work, but I'm more of the video person. So what you have described is the same thing that I do with those longer form videos, for sure. It's all about taking that big idea and showing it in many different ways.
Well, exactly. And you can take that blog post that's been sitting on your website, and it's still relevant, and you can present it to camera. Use it like a video script.
Yeah.
And literally just say the words to your screen and present it that way as well. There are,
exactly,
endless opportunities, right? Okay, so let's look at, I guess, again, some more tactical ways that we can do this. So we spoke about this before, about literally resharing content exactly as it is. So if you are creating an Instagram reel, before you post it, very important, hit that little down arrow and save a copy to your phone. This is great for the sake of repurposing, but also as a backup in case your reel goes missing. And that has happened to so many people. So please always, always, always back up your content. Yeah. And then you can pop it in a folder on your phone to reshare time and time again, either on Instagram again, over onto your stories, onto YouTube Shorts, onto TikTok, like wherever. But make sure you've saved that copy down to your phone so you've got it handy. It will strip out any commercial music, but that's fine. And again, this is why I like commercial music. It definitely adds emotion and fun to your content, but there are limitations when it comes to repurposing. So think about that when you're actually creating that content.
Yep. Yeah, that's a very good tip. I don't know about you, Crystal, but I've actually stopped using music in my videos, partly because of this, and partly because of obviously like copyright and such is different on each platform. Yeah. I don't know. Have you stopped using music in your reels, or?
I do for most, especially ones where I'm talking to camera. So for those ones, I tend not to add music anymore, because if you want to turn that reel, for example, into a paid ad, it won't let you do it if it has music in the background.
Yeah.
And again, for the sake of repurposing. Plus, I think it's really important that with this type of video content that you're not falling back on trends or trending sounds or what have you all the time. They can be really, really good for engaging your audience or entertaining them kind of in, a different way. And for little short videos, where you just got a few words popping up on screen, cool, great, amazing. But for the stuff where you really want to demonstrate your thought leadership, that is your own IP, intellectual property, I think it's best to just have your own unique voice and face on screen, so that people can connect with you and so that you can build that credibility and trust.
Yep, that's pretty much bang on what I would have said for sure.
Look at that. Now you use a very special tool for your
Mm.
repurposing, don't you? I just do it manually, but I know that you use repurpose.io. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, I've messaged the CEO, honey, if you're listening, we would love to have you on the podcast. Um, so I like to describe Repurpose.io as the Henry Cavill of AI content marketing platforms. It's easy on the eyes, like Henry Cavill. It's so easy to use. And it's quite muscular because of the sheer amount of repurposing it can actually do. And again, it's easy on the eyes. It's super, super easy to use. It's pretty much what repurpose.io does for me. The way that I have it set up is I start on TikTok. TikTok's my jam. If I record a video and I post it to TikTok, it will repost onto my other platforms without the watermark. So it takes the caption, takes hashtags if I want to, and automatically reposts it without the watermark. Now, mind you, I can control it as well so that I have to manually repost, but within the platform itself, if it's that way, the video's there, the caption that I've used is there, the hashtags are there, I can slightly modify it and post it immediately to my platform. It
I love
saves,
that.
like, if you think about it, if you wanted to go and manually repost and redo a caption and this, that, and the other, it can take, say, 15, 20 minutes per post that you're doing. This just kind of almost eliminates 2/3 of that time.
Oh, very
It's,
interesting.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's insane what it can do, and we'll have a link to it in the show notes, and hopefully we can get Hani on board on coming as a guest again. Hani, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the podcast. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a total beast of a tool. Now, when it comes to reformatting existing content, here's a few things that you can do, and we've kind of gone over these a little bit. High performing posts and turning them into reels. Now, what do you mean by that?
So if you, again, I always default to Instagram for my
Mm,
examples. If you had a post that you put out, so it was a static image, written caption that performed really, really well,
mm,
literally taking that caption and using it as a script to create a reel. So again, we spoke about that just sort of before, really just reformatting what you already have and what's already proven. You've got that social proof, you've got those likes, comments, shares, saves, whatever the objective of the post was. And now you're just going to present it in a different way. And
mm.
it's so easy to do. You've already got the script there in front of you. It's just a matter of pulling out your phone, recording you saying what was in that written caption, and off you go.
That's a good one. I'm gonna have to
Mm.
use that one more
It's
often.
seriously, go into your insights data on Instagram, see what's performed well, take that, use it as a script. It's a really good one when you're sitting there going, I don't know what to post, and you're kind of stuck for ideas. Go and see what's worked well before and reuse it.
Yeah,
Because if
you've
it was
already
good
written.
then,
Yeah.
exactly, it's your content. So, it's not
Mm,
cheating, it's clever creation. Um, we spoke about before, obviously, taking long form content and breaking it down into smaller pieces of content or just into different styles. So the blog post into carousels.
mhm,
One thing that I really like to do, and again, this comes back to sort of planning things out as you're going into the content creation, and that is to create multiple pieces of content at the same time. So if I'm filming a vertical video, I'm thinking about how else I can use that. And often I'll take that video, say I've created a reel and I've saved that down to my phone, as I suggested before. I'll quickly pop it into a tool like CapCut or InShot, or you could even just do this on your phone. Crop it down to like a square video, and now I've got something for Facebook. Boom.
Mm.
And it's optimized for that platform. So it doesn't just look like a carbon copy. Although, in saying that, right now, Facebook Reels are taking off. So make sure you are sharing your Instagram Reels over on Facebook Reels. But just, giving you just another size, another shape, if you will, of content that you can use somewhere else. You could pop it into an email marketing campaign if it's a really short little quick tip. You
Oh,
could put it on
yeah.
your website. Like, there are so many different ways that you can take the content that you're creating. And if you're thinking about it at the time and thinking, okay, here's all the places I want to use it. Well, I'm going to be mindful of filming myself a little bit further back from the camera so that I can crop this and use this in these different locations.
Mm.
So absolutely planning ahead. If you are creating content using Canva, my absolute favorite tool, as I know many people listening are all Canva lovers as well, using that resize button. That resize button, I tell you, is the number one reason to invest in a Canva Pro account. It's that button alone. That is the reason to
Size matters when it
upgrade.
comes to
Oh,
Canva.
it does. Because again, once you've created, some beautiful posts, say for a carousel, you can quickly hit resize, put them into a story size or vertical, and they can be shared to your stories. They can be joined together to create like a slideshow kind of video that you could use in Reels, in YouTube Shorts, over on Pinterest, Pinterest idea pins. We often forget about those as well, but again, you can reuse your vertical video over there as well.
Mm.
Likewise, Canva now has a quick create feature where you can make multiple different formats all at once, so multiple designs. So something for like an
Oh,
email
yeah.
banner at the same time as an Instagram post, at the same time as a Facebook post, all correctly sized for whatever platform it is. So you create the design once and it puts it into all these different formats.
They've
So
just
much fun.
they've just thought of everything for that
They're
pro
taking over the
account.
world. They're
Yeah.
taking over the world. What else are you, because I know you do this as well, right? Creating
Yeah.
kind of multiple versions of the same piece of content.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, taking those longer form videos, so recording videos that are more than a minute long. I found 2-3 minutes is kind of a sweet spot. You can get a few ideas out there, but taking that long form version and creating snippets out of it. So there's a few different ways you can do this. Obviously, you can take the video and, you know, watch it, pause, cut, blah, blah, blah. That is going to take time. Mind you, when you're learning something new, anything is going to take a little while when it's the first time you're doing it. To make it easier for you, you can use a platform called Descript, which is what we use to create our social snippets for the podcast at the moment. When you add your videos onto Descript, it will show you the transcription on the side. And what I have found that really helps to make sure that you guarantee that you're getting the right snippet with the right information or the highlight that you want to do is read the transcript, and you can snip out that main point and create a mini clip off of it. It's really easy. It takes like 30 seconds. And for me, at least, I read a lot faster than having to continuously view something to edit.
Yeah, I
So,
used it the other day and I created 14
mm,
videos from one coaching call. So I had
yeah.
a recorded coaching call that I'd done with the Mile High Content Club. I took that out, I loaded it into Descript, and I made 14 snippets
Mm-hmm.
for Facebook and vertical videos, so Reels, TikTok, etc. Yeah, in 13 minutes.
Yeah. You,
Done.
yeah.
So easy.
You can go one step further if you want, and you can automatically add subtitles that use that transcript as well. But we don't go that far. We just create the snippet and that's it. The other thing though is, and I'm gonna test this out with one of our recordings, is there's a platform called Opus.io
Oh, okay.
that you can throw in a YouTube video, a long form video, and it will automatically create 10 snippets using AI. So you
That's
don't even,
amazing.
so supposedly the way that they have marketed this is that you practically don't even have to think or tell it where those snippets are. It finds those main points and creates those snippets for you automatically, which I think is insane. I'm going to test it out, and I will probably do a review at some point when I get the chance and remember to do so on
Amazing.
TikTok. Yeah.
Well,
So,
we'll link to all of those tools in the show notes. So you can go and have a little play and a browse yourself. And yes, most of these do tend to be paid, but it's a
mm,
case of time versus money, you know. And when
yeah.
you're just starting out, often you've got plenty of time, but not much money. And as you progress in your business, you find sometimes it's worth investing that money to save yourself the time. But,
Hmm.
you know, there's, again, Canva's a great one for using for your video snippets as well. You can upload. It's better for shorter videos than the longer ones. But if you've got something that you created for a reel, for an Instagram story, for a TikTok, you can upload and cut that down as well, just using a tool like that. So you don't have to invest a lot of money. There are cheap options or free options out there as well.
Mm.
Now, Clem, I am aware of time. We've got another engagement to get to. So let's wrap things up with a few super quick tips to help people at home who are thinking about spending more of their time repurposing to save themselves time in the long run. So, yeah, give us your first quick tip.
So mine is, people might think that it's a bit philosophical, but it's really helped my clients get into that mindset when they're creating content that it's, don't make the work harder for you. Think when you're going to start thinking about your repurposing process, start with the question of what is the easiest and fastest way for me to create content. Especially like when I say easiest, it's pretty much obvious it's also going to be probably the most fun that you're doing because you do it so much that it's really, really fast. When you start with that piece and use that to repurpose, to reformat, cross post, etc., you've done a lot of the heavy lifting already. You know, you probably already have that blog post is already shaped from what you say, or your social media caption is there. It's the basis for, you know, a new blog, that sort of thing. So think of the way that you most easily provide information and education to your clients and your ideal clients, and use that as the basis to create your repurposing model, because I guarantee you everything else is going to become so much easier, especially the content you hate to create. It gets
Yes.
so much easier when you already have a building block there.
Yeah, so lean into your strengths is what you're saying. So
Exactly.
if you love to write, start out with a long form piece of written content and then take that and turn it into these other pieces of content. Or if, you know, like Clem, you love video, she starts out with TikTok, films everything on there, and then uses a tool like Descript to pull out the written captions or that kind of stuff there. Yes,
Yeah.
so good. Yes.
Mm.
And it's going to make it more enjoyable as well as a lot faster. I would say one of my quick tips is make templates your friend. I love templates. Templates are the best. Your mind probably is automatically going to like Canva templates or graphics or things like that. Yes, amazing. Those definitely make it a lot easier. But you can also template things like your video content. So if you have a set formula that you like to use for videos to get them out really quick and easily, do that, right? Take that formula. So when you're creating something, go, okay, I know that I want to create this one piece of content in 3 different ways. And I always present my content, whether it's written, whether it's a video script, you know, whether it's a carousel post with, you know, the what, the why, the how, and then wrap things up with a call to action. If you have that kind of template for the way that you're producing your content, it's going to make it a lot faster. And that can be applied to whatever format you choose.
That's a really, really good tip. Another one that I always tell people, so really mainly that you don't get overwhelmed. And I mean, this goes in any facet of your business. Start small and build from there. So start by repurposing to one format or 2 formats over 6 or 7 different formats, or trying to do 4 sets of carousels, you know, or
Yeah.
that sort of. Start small so that you don't get overwhelmed and then you get completely turned off from repurposing your content, which we know you won't, but you're not going to enjoy it. And we may as well enjoy things when we're running our business and we're marketing it right, because it's going to show if you don't. But yeah, start small and build from there. Now, Krishna, you've got one last tip.
I do. And on the starting small, I would encourage everybody listening to this, after you've done listening to this, go onto Instagram, go into those insights and find that top performing post that you can take the caption and present as a reel. Do that today. That is your action, and practical action to take after listening to this, and then come back and tell us how good that process was for you, because I guarantee it's going to be good. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
just getting excited here because we love this so much. Yeah. Okay, final quick tip for you. And coincidentally, Clem and I are just about to jump onto another podcast to chat all about this. A quick and easy way to repurpose content is to actually use a tool such as ChatGPT. One thing that it does really, really well is summarize content. So you can feed, I say in inverted commas, you can feed ChatGPT the transcript from your podcast or from your YouTube video. You could feed it a really incredible email that you've sent to your list, maybe something from your welcome sequence, your nurture sequence that you've actually put a lot of time and energy into. You can feed that to ChatGPT and ask it to extract the key points. You can say to it, take this and create a 5-page Instagram carousel, or a script for a 30-second TikTok video, pulling out the key points and summarizing them from this piece of content. And it can do that. And then it's a matter of jumping on camera and presenting that, or dropping, that written text into Canva to create graphics or what have you. Or, take this podcast, for example, if we grab the transcript from this, give this to ChatGPT, we can say, okay, great, create our show notes for us. Wonderful. Pull out the key points and create an email that we can now send to our list, summarizing this and enticing them to come and listen to the full episode. You can ask it to create multiple versions too of catchy headlines, so you can have that different hook at the start of each piece of content. Like, there are so many different things that it can do. And because you're feeding it your own content, it's going to sound like you. It's not going to sound like it was written by your Roomba, no robot speak here. It's your own words, voice, that it's using. So that is the final tip for today. I hope you found this episode useful. And again, go forth, repurpose, and let us know how you get on. You can connect with us on Instagram or TikTok. That's usually where we hang out, at the Mad Marketing Mums. Or, if you really feel the call to send us some lovely messages, you can, of course, email us, hello@madmarketingmums.com. Till next time, happy repurposing.
Bye-bye.